shot up. We're good. This is your buddy George Jones over at the Bergen Gun Range with my next installment on, get that out of there before you lose it. My next installment on, hey, let's shoot some old shotgun shells for fun. Now, recently, a neighbor of mine down the street was going through some stuff, and she found a bunch of shotgun shells, and they were pretty old. They were in a wooden box, just a bunch of loose shotgun shells, but they were all 1930s, 1940s, and 50s vintage shotgun shells. So I thought, well, what do you do with old shotgun shells? Well, you don't throw them in the trash. I have got a friend who's a trash collector. Makes good money doing it too, like 30 bucks an hour, you know. But he routinely finds old ammunition thrown in the trash. You know, tries to pick it out, put it in a bucket and so forth, get rid of it. He brought me some, you know. But don't do that. You know, that ammunition goes through, with the trash, goes through a processor and can easily explode and hurt someone. So don't throw it away. If you've got ammunition and you want to get rid of it, send me an email. If you're a long way off, you can ship it to me through your gun store locally, you know, and I'll receive it and pay the shipping on it, you know. If you're local, I'll come pick it up. I mean, you know, I don't have a problem with it. I'll see to it that it either gets fired up for training or in a hunting activity, or gets broken down, you know, and recycled in some way. You know, all them old 30-06 shells from World War I didn't shoot. I pulled the bullets on all of them, cleaned them, and reloaded them as new ammunition. You know, and put the powder in the garden. The nitrates is good for the soil. You know, so, you know, shotgun shells, I break them down, get the old shot out of them, you know, and punch the primers out of them if they won't fire, and see to it that everything gets thrown away safely, in a safe manner, in a constructive manner. Okay, what do we got here? Well, we have got a bunch of these. These are purple paper Peter's referee shells. Now, I searched the internet last night trying to figure out what a referee shotgun shell was, why it was called that, you know, and so forth. I don't know. They look to me like they're primed with a large rifle primer. And it says on there that it's a 1 1/8 ounce of shot, but it's purple 12 gauge. Now, in the 1950s, Federal standardized the color coding for shotgun shells, and purple is supposed to be 16 gauge nowadays, okay? But you see 16 gauge shells that aren't purple. Sometimes you see Fiocchi 16s that are yellow, you know, same color as, you know, a 20 gauge shell. But we're going to try and give them a whirl here and see what old shotgun shells will shoot, whether or not they'll shoot, you know, just basically for the fun of it. So let's give it a try. Let's put on some ear mufflers and see what we got. I'm shooting the 870 Police Magnum tactical shotgun. We'll try one of these referees. See if it'll shoot. Oh, apparently it'll shoot. Oh, that's a smoky thing. Now it says right there on the end of it, smokeless. Boy, it smells like rotten eggs. It smells like black powder. And it sure smokes. You know, shell, still smoking. Okay, let's try another one. Make sure that's a 12 gauge. Make sure that's a 12 gauge, yeah. Man, I can't believe how much that thing smokes. Let's get another one. Let's back up a little bit. Get a little bit better on camera. God bless. Let's back the chair up a little bit. There we go. It don't kick much at all. It just, and it sounds like a howitzer. You know. Here we go. Bless. Something tells me I'm cleaning the shotgun tonight real good. All right, what do we got here? This is a, I can't even read it. This is a Peters High V, HV, Peters HV. I guess that stands for high velocity. It's 12 gauge. It's got the shell base that says it was made in the 1940s. And it's a number 6. Well, that one's smokeless. Kinda. All right, let's see what else we got. Here's another Peters high velocity. This was 1 1/8 of number 4, and it says DuPont on the end of it. Let's try that. That was smoky. Well, kinda. Or let's put it this way, it's not as smoky. All right. Here's another one. Ooh, that's a deer slug. We'll wait for that. Here's another referee. Let's see how smoky this one is. Good grief. Man. It's got all these particles that come out of the end of it. It's like one of them old Chinese shotgun shells and Red Stars we used to get that it's like wadded with chicken feathers. All right, that's enough of that. Whew. We'll save that for the blooper reel. Good grief. All right. Okay. Bless. Good grief. There's another one there, and them things stink, buddy. I mean, it's got a factory overshot card in the end of it. You know, a reload wouldn't have that. You know, and it says with the manufacturer's marking on it. So it's, you know, it's got to be, you know, they got to be factory load. You know. There's another one. Get a bunch of shale. That thing, man, I've never run upon that before. Oh, here's one that's in poor condition. It's kind of swelled looking. It may not fire at all. It's a 1940s, late 1930s, 1940s with the lateral grooves on it. Now, the reason why that is in there is to better crimp the body of the shell, the paper tube, you know, and then there's a paper base wad in the bottom of this thing that makes the base of the shell. And then this metal piece is on here to crimp and hold it all together and to give you a rim for extraction, okay? But it's crimped on there to hold this cardboard tube to that cardboard base wad, you know, and then give the primer some metal for support, you know, when it's in there. So that's why these shells have high brass on there, and why we have all these grooves like this and various indentations into it, is to help crimp the two pieces of the paper shotgun shell together, make it hold together in firing. Let's try this and see how it shoots. If it shoots at all. Now this is a Magnum, police Magnum shotgun. This is designed to hold up to pretty good pressure loads. And that's why I'm using these, because I don't have any idea what they're going to do. You know, so I need a good stout shotgun. I'm not going to shoot these through a Brazilian-made single shot, you know, because I don't know what's going to happen when you pull the trigger. Damn, I haven't killed a rabbit. Smokeless. Some kind of smokeless. I don't know what kind of thing it's loaded with, but it's some kind of smokeless. Let's see what this one is. This one is a, oh, that's 16 gauge. We don't want that one. You know. Let's see what's in these bags. Here is, I've sorted these. This is pre-1940s, 00 Buck, Peters Victors. Ooh, that's going to be interesting. Put them in these bags so we can keep them kind of separated. This one's got copper instead of brass on it. It's kind of interesting. And it's 00 Buck. Got a factory overshot wad card in it. And it is a Peters Victors number 12. Now, the simple fact of the matter is that's 00 Buck. This is like a modern round like this is $2, you know. So, you know, should you shoot it even though it looks kind of nice? No, you can't bet your life on it. I mean, you know, you're talking about a 70-year-old shotgun shell. Let's see what happens on steel silhouette. Patterned it up there pretty good. Let's try another one. Didn't kick very much. Didn't kick like a modern Super X buckshot would kick, or, you know, a Remington Magnum Express buckshot. But it shoots good. Try another one, see how it works. See if I can hit any on that tank plate that's 14 by 14 down there, and see if I can get any pellets on it. Yeah. Okay. They work. There's some different ones in here. They're also buckshot. These are older. These are the older Cole design. It's 00 Buck, 00 Buck, and it is a Peters HV, high velocity. Let's try it. It's got a lot of brass on it. Brass generally indicates recoil on a shotgun shell, just to tell you the truth. Here we go. Yeah, high brass generally indicates recoil, but it's shot. Oh man, that one kicked hard. Believe it or not, shot, the formula of powder can change over time. So, you know, handling and so forth can cause powder flakes to break up, which changes the burn rate of the powder. That's why you should never put live ammunition in a brass tumbler. You know, that's a good way to wind up blowing yourself up, especially with a high-powered rifle. All right, let's see. These are kind of fun, to tell you the truth. They don't kick too bad, and they work good. Another Peters 1940s vintage. Wham! Now, this doesn't mean this one is old buck. Old buck. That would be about 34 caliber, I think. No, that would be slightly smaller than 00 buck. 00 buck is 31 caliber typically, so I think. I don't have my table in front of me to check, but let's try it. That kicked hard. Got two of these Peters Victor 00s left. Combat load 1. Duty load 1. Let's see where we can get with it. On the steel silhouette at 25 yards. That would murder. That one too. So they're smoky and they're light kicking. But to shoot, that's going to be a filthy shotgun tonight. We'll have to clean that one. Okay, what do we got now? Well, let's see what we got here. We got a whole bunch of these. I've got enough of these to take dove hunting if they shoot consistently. This is Peters Victors, pre-1940 according to my research. 7.5 and number 8, so, or 7.5 8. We may do another. I'll save some of these, see if we can bust clays with a 70-year-old shotgun shell. Peters Victor, number 12. Fire about 3 of these, see if they consistently shoot. Check, make sure. Peters Victor, number 12. Well, Peters Victor, number 12. Fire 3 of them, see how they shoot. And these are 7.5 or 8s. Oh, it's got some muzzle flash to it. Those fire pretty consistently. We may keep those. There's about 20 in there. Maybe you come over here Sunday and do a little addendum video to this and see if we can bust clay pigeons with 70-year-old shotgun shells. That sounds like a good idea. All right, what do we got left that we ain't tried yet? These look like Peters high velocity number 4s. There's a 6 or 2 in there. Make sure we get this right. Put some glasses on there and see if we can make sure that we got the right. We're not throwing 16s in there by accident. 12s, 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 12s. Number 4s and number 6s. Chilled shot, it says. Ooh, this is high velocity, 2 3/4 inch, 1 1/4 ounce, and number 4. These ought to be fun. Let's try these. These are the shotgun shells. That bunch that I got from the lady, there was a lot of pistol ammunition in there too. Several whole boxes of Winchester Western yellow box and so forth. 12 gauge, high velocity, made in the USA, Victor's HV. Same thing there, there. Some of these don't have a rolled in crimp. Some of them have a very interesting looking 6-point crimp on them, the way they're made. The ones with paper over the ends of them have a very interesting looking 6-point crimp. I have an old Damascus barrel shotgun that I wanted to do a video on, and I wanted to come out here and shoot these things up and get me some paper shotgun shells, so hopefully I can use them to reload them and make me some black powder shotgun shells to be able to shoot that barrel gun safely, you know. Oh, let's put us 2 or 3 of these things in there and see how they shoot. 1 1/4 ounce, number 4 shot. '40s, early 50s vintage, I'd say. Just going by there's not much research you can do. I can't find any real information on the history and development of the shotgun shell. You can find information on history and development of all kinds of things related to shooting except shotgun shells. The only thing you can find is occasionally find pictures of them and occasionally find pictures of the boxes they came out of. But actually to sit down and say that this base marking was from this period, you know, is hard to truly verify. Of course, I've been shooting shotguns since the mid-1960s, since I'm about 10 years old. You know, I remember these shotgun shells were pretty commonly found, you know, in gun stores and so forth, but they've been there for 20 years. Daddy would say, no, them's old shells, we don't want to shoot them. You know, you go in a store someplace and they'd have 4 or 5 boxes of shotgun shells with a certain kind of label on them or a certain kind of base marking on them, you know, and Dad would say, no, they haven't been around too long. Them was when I was a kid. Well, he was a kid in the 40s. so you know, that's a pretty good basis for research right there. You know, all right, let's see how these number 4s shoot. Okay. Oh, Lord. Well, there we go. Good grief. Let's try it again. I'm just amazed that they all shoot. That's the big thing I'm thinking. I'm just amazed that they all shoot. All right. Time to get down to the brass. Oh, look. That's interesting. I mean, you got like that. Oh, look. Yeah, okay. I've just noticed something here. These are shells I just shot. Some of the holes I just shot. Can you see that? That whole base is cracked. Yeah. That means that that powder in there probably didn't burn the way they intended it for it to burn. You know, here's another one. You know, get it on camera good. You know, that whole base is seriously cracked. You know, so and there's another one's cracked. But, you know, it didn't hurt to shoot her, which was kind of nice, you know. All right, let's get down to something else. There is a 1940s, early 1950s 12 gauge deer slug. This is a Foster slug. I had two like this, and I cut one of them apart to see what kind of projectile was in it. And it's, in fact, a Foster slug. For Fosters came out in the 1920s, 30s, you know. Emmett Foster come up with that idea, and, you know, Winchester ran with it, and then everybody followed. And the Foster slug was pretty much the industry standard for a shotgun projectile all the way up to maybe 10 years ago. These are erroneously referred to as a pumpkin ball. Now, my dad still calls a 12 gauge deer slug a pumpkin ball. What is a pumpkin ball? Well, there is such a thing. Back in the days of brass shotgun shells, all brass shotgun shells, extruded brass shotgun shells with a single projectile were loaded with a 69 caliber round ball. These were commonly referred to as pumpkin balls. Now, as far as I know, unless you buy some of them creepy, weird shotgun shells at the gun show out of the bin, you can't get a 69 caliber round ball loaded in a shell. You can't currently buy a mainstream production pumpkin ball. But about 50 videos ago, I had made up some 69 caliber round balls and loaded them with felt overpowder wads and so forth to make up the distance in the hull, you know, put them in there and crimped them in there with a roll crimp tool. And in a comparison between a modern Foster slug, a hand-rolled Diablo slug for accuracy, and a 69 caliber pumpkin ball shell, they all shot about the same at 50 yards. So, you know, pumpkin ball, yeah, they call them pumpkin balls. The old people call them pumpkin balls, you know, but actually they're what they're talking about is a Foster deer slug. Bear with me a moment, we'll do something. Let's have some fun. This is a long video, but we're just going to leave it running and have some fun. Get this up here. Get this up here where we can put the camera in the shadow. Okay. There we are in kind of a shadow. Can we see down there good? Some sunglasses off, we can see what we're looking at. Yeah. So I figure I've got two deer slugs here. And down there is 2 targets. So we're going like Kentucky ballistics. On the left-hand target is a number 10 can full of applesauce, and the right-hand target is a, believe it or not, I actually use a gallon of bore cleaner a year, is an empty GI gallon bore cleaner can full of water, and we're going to take a shot at them with the applesauce can. We'll try and bust it with the 1940s, early 50s deer slug, and we'll use the 1960s deer slug on the water can. We'll see what happens. Okay, applesauce first. Ooh, boomy! Yeah, and the water can. Yeah. All right. So it appears the 70-year-old, there's the exit hole, there's the entry hole. It appears that the 70-year-old deer slug, if it'll shoot, is still effective. And it appears that the 50-year-old deer slug, if it'll shoot, is still effective. Yeah. We're having a good old field day over here with non-scientific testing. Oh Lordy, there we go. Well, what have we learned? Well, we basically learned if it'll fire, you know, it'll work. And if it doesn't fire, it doesn't work. That's a pretty serious, not very serious at all actually, not very serious around here. That's a pretty good non-scientific test of the life and survival. If they're kept dry, you know, and not overhandled, you know, and not over manipulated, they last a long time. They last a long time and they work. I plan to bring these back out next week, filming, and see if we can bust a clay pigeon with them. Actually, I'm planning on going to that Hawkins Road State Dove Field tomorrow. I may go take them over there and shoot them, see how they work out. But yeah, typically, if it'll fire, it'll work. Now, one of the problems with paper shotgun shells is when they do get moisture, they swell. Okay, if they're exposed to long-term moisture, high humidity, and so forth, they swell, which again changes the firing parameter of the shell. At the end of the paper shotgun shell era, they had begun to flute elongated grooves in the paper, which would allow you to chamber a swelled shotgun shell better. My thing is, if it's been exposed to any moisture at all to allow it to swell any little amount, that shell's no good, because it'll deaden the primer, or the moisture and the drying and the remoisturing will change the parameters of the powder burn, which will give you unexpected and hazardous results. So, you know, if you find an old shotgun shell like this one, or a bunch of them, and they see you run your fingers down them and they seem a little swelled, I wouldn't even try them. All right then, we've had fun today and blowed a few things up. That's about the size of it. Like it, share if I, commentate, and subscribe. Leave me no $1 in the Patreon bucket if you want to on the way out the door, and if you don't, well, I keep right on making content for you. Try and find somebody to subscribe to me, or like and share, because that helps me, the old algorithm, and helps me get a little bit more money out of Google AdSense. You know, it ain't cheap doing this. I love it, and I'll keep doing it. If I never made another dime off of it, I'd still have this YouTube channel because I love doing it. Be kind to your neighbor. Hang in there. We've had poor leadership before. I'm pulling for you. Okay? Let's remember, we're the gun people. We're the smart money and the cool head in the room. God bless everyone. Check on the old people. Join the NRA. We kind of need them. And we'll see y'all when we see you. Bye now. I never saw a shotgun shell in my life that said it was smokeless and smoked this much. This is amazing. And stinks. It don't smell just like black powder, but it sure stinks. I don't know what's in it, but they shoot. That's the crazy thing, they shoot. I never seen black powder shotgun shells that smoke that bad. Well, anyway, little addendum. There you go.